Hello everyone and welcome to Kantan Japanese. Today we will talk about this again. If you've watched my other videos, you should have a pretty good idea as to what that means. So yeah, we'll talk about kanji again for the second time. We'll talk about kanji many times. So today's lesson actually will be about remembering the kanji for the JLPT4. There's about 101 kanji, if I remember correctly, to remember for the JLPT, which is the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. So today's kanji will be number 1 to 10. It's very easy, so it's a good way to begin learning the kanji, or remembering them at least. Let's begin. Now, before going into the mnemonic tricks, if you will, keep in mind that this is the way I remember the kanjis. If you have a better way, of course, use whatever works for you. So here we go. Some of those ideas might seem far-fetched, and some of them are far-fetched, but this is just the way I remember them. It works for me. So the first one, this one, just like ichi, number 1. I use pictures. So in my mind, I picture a hand like this, seen sideways, with one finger sticking out. So 1. Okay. Keep the idea in mind. Keep in mind that it's a hand. That's going to come in handy with the other kanjis. Okay. Next one. 2. So I guess if 1 was one finger sticking out, I guess you can pretty much guess what number 2 is going to be like, right? Well, you're right. Just a hand with 2 fingers sticking out, just like the peace symbol, pretty much, but sideways. Number 3, san, number 3, just like the number 3. Same thing. 3 fingers sticking out. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Yon, number 4. Number 4 is more difficult to memorize. You'll see why. Now, the way I remember it, because I used the hand with the fingers for the kanji for 1, 2, and 3, I also use the hands for 4. Now, the way I remember it is I picture the square as if it's the N, the hand over there. This stroke over here is like the clenched thumb, and this stroke over there represents 4, the 4 clenched fingers. So that's how I remember that this is 4, because I've got 4 clenched fingers over there. So this one is a bit more difficult to remember, but that's how I remember it. Next one. Onwards to number 5. Go. Go. Okay, let's look at the picture. For number 5, I just pictured a good old-fashioned 5 in my mind, just like this one. And what I did is I just prolonged each one of the strokes. So this stroke, when you're writing number 5, right, you just prolong it on the left side like this. Like this part over here. Same thing with this stroke. Just prolong it over here. This stroke is already there, and then you just prolong it on the right for the last one, the bottom one here. And what you get is something that looks like this kanji over here. So yeah, that's how I remember number 5. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6, roku. Now number 6 is very far-fetched, I'll admit. You might want to try to find your own story for this one. Actually, this one I memorized it because I kept saying it in China, so that's how I memorized it. But so if you take this kanji over here is 6. Now if you take the Roman numeral 6 and you turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise, then you get this side upwards, just like this one. And the V over there, if you turn it sideways, if you turn it this way, then you get something that looks like a V over here as well. But this one isn't that much of a great story, but might work for some of you. Okay, next one. Okay, 7, nana, nana. 7 is easier. See how 7 kind of like this? Well, what I did is I just turned it upside down. And to me, it just looks like a 7, just like this number. 7, it's exactly the same, so it's very easy to remember. Next one. 8, hachi. Now, here it's hard to see, but usually you would write 8 with a smaller stroke here and a bigger one there. So just like the number 8, you've got a small circle on top of a bigger, larger circle. Here you have a small stroke just next to a large one. So just keep in mind that there's a small stroke there and a large one there, and that's how I remember number 8. Okay, but as I said, some of them are hard to remember by making pictures or stories, so just like number 9, I actually have no pictures for this one, so you will have to just use flashcards or write it repeatedly to remember this one. And then last one, ju, which is number 10. Now, I don't know if you can remember, but for number 1, 2, 3, and 4, I used hands as ways to remember the kanji. Well, for number 10, just remember one hand, one arm this way, and the other arm that way, both with both fingers all stretched on both hands, and you have total of 10 fingers, right? So that's how I remember number 10. So that's all for today. You know, the things to remember. You should be able to recognize the kanji from number 1 to 10. If some of my stories were not that useful, which is possible, well, you might want to make up your own or just write them over and over again, or use flashcards for that matter. And if you don't already know how to pronounce your numbers, well, now it's the time to memorize it. So that's all for today. Have a good one. Bye bye.